My name's Mark Taylor. I'm going to take you through today exactly how eSaleshub works. So as you can see from our website, we pay for Google, you pay per lead. A lot of people ask me, how can you do that? Because at the end of the day, Google charges per click. So how is it I can end up paying you per lead, whereas actually I pay Google per click? Well, in this video today, what I'm going to do is take you through how our technology works and how you can end up paying per lead with eSaleshub rather than per click. So the first thing I'm going to do is demo the technology to you, because I think it's a really important thing to actually show you exactly how our technology works, what we track, what we don't track, and how we generate our leads. So you can do this with me if you want to. If you just go to google.co.uk, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to Bedford today. So we're going to type in the key term, unblock drain Bedford. Now, the interesting thing about this is we're now doing what's known as a local search. Local search, according to Google's CEO in the September 2018 earnings call, is their fastest growing search category. So you're going to find over the next couple of years that Google's going to do a lot of development around local search. But it's also interesting that Google tells us that 50% of people online are already doing local searches. Now, you don't have to have a location, so I've got Bedford in there. You don't have to have a location for it to be classified as a local keyword, but just to make this dead easy and so that you can replicate this yourself, I'm adding in the Bedford keyword, so you can search anywhere in the UK and you're still going to pick up Bedford. So, what we do is, let's go to the search results. Now, I'm not going to go through the PPC because it means I've got to click on someone else's ad and I don't want to waste anybody else's budget. But eSaleshub do run a combined PPC and SEO strategy for all of our clients. So yeah, we pay for Google. Essentially, it's our risk. We don't charge you a media cost. We don't charge you the click cost. You literally just pay us per lead. But we do run a blended model. Now, as you can see here, and you can see I've already clicked on it before, Drain Dr. Bedford comes up first. That's one of our clients. So how do we get the rankings that we get for local search? We do two things, and two things alone. The first one is we use schema code. So schema code is a language, a markup language that every search engine in the world pretty much subscribes to. And it's a way of telling Google where you want the page to appear or how to classify the page. And the way I see it is schema code, you would use it to make the search engine's life easier because you're telling them this page is relevant to Bedford, to someone who wants to unblock a drain. This page is relevant to Milton Keynes, who want to unblock a drain. So there are a lot of people in the SEO world who say schema works or it doesn't work. From our point of view, we think it does work. It's one of the things that we do, and it seems to work very, very well for us to get those natural search rankings. But what's the other thing that we do? It's not just about the schema. It's actually about on-page optimization. So again, if you're familiar with SEO, you'll probably get your SEO agency talking about off-page, on-page, and a bunch of the different tactics. The only thing we do is on-page optimization. We never do anything off-page. Why? Off-page, there's a risk it could cause you a penalty if you drive too many backlinks. The second thing is we believe for local search that actually too much off-page optimization can have a detrimental effect. So we just focus on the stuff that we can have a real impact in, and as you probably already know, there's about 200 different parameters that Google look for that help in ranking a page. Our belief is to get the things that you can do really well right, and the rest will follow. So as you can see here, we rank first. So as I click through, we're now tracking that click. So if I was coming from PPC, I'd be getting the click information or the click data like keyword and search term and things like that. I've clicked on natural search, so we're still tracking you as a natural search click, but obviously Google does not share that information anymore, so I don't know the keyword you've used. However, the important thing about this landing page is this telephone number here. So Google tells us that 71% of users that do a local search will call as part of the transaction. In fact, our data, we've been going 5 years, suggests that actually this is more like 80%. But it's an area that people often ignore. They either hide the telephone number or they don't want the telephone number there at all. But if you're not displaying a telephone number, then you literally are going to miss out on about 80% of your potential customers. But the problem with having a telephone number is you're immediately taking that customer from online which is hugely measurable and really easy to understand and see your metrics, to an offline transaction, which is really, really difficult to track. How do you do that? Well, that's the great thing about eSaleshub, is that we literally can track that click right the way through to sale in your CRM system, which enables you to optimize your leads with eSaleshub as if it was an e-commerce transaction. So how do we do that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our analytics tool. So this is a client, this is the third Friday in July, client of ours. And essentially what we're doing is what we're able to do is track the click data that comes from Google right the way through to sales in your CRM, your order management system. You can even manually upload them to our eSaleshub analytics tool. But how does that work and what does that mean to you? Well, what I'm going to do is on here you can see we've got a data match here. So what we do is for this particular client on this day, we have matched 75% of the leads that we have generated. We have matched to a data entry point on the CRM system for that day. Now, what that means to you as a client is, we very rarely match 100% because you do get people phoning on an unknown number, but you know that any data analysis we do is whatever that percentage is, that's the minimum that you can expect to get from the leads that we've generated from any data that we show you. So what we've got here is you can see that we've got £14,000 of open revenue. So that's stuff that's been quoted, but it's not yet been invoiced. So see it as a bit of a work in progress type of report. You've then got your sales revenue here, which is 4,426. So they've actually invoiced that off on their system as a sale. You can see here they've got 54% conversion. So literally every 10 leads we're giving them, they're converting 5, which is a really, really high ratio. And then you've got an average invoice value of 245. So this information is really great if you want to understand how your lead generation program is working and what your return on investment is. But the real fun stuff is when you start connecting the click data to the sales data that's come through a phone line, because then you can see the difference in behavior of different keywords, and then you can start enhancing that conversion and that average invoice value. Okay, so how do we do that? So I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. You can see here we've got a report here that says keywords by call volume. So you can see here we've got unblocked drain has delivered 561 calls over the last 6 months. And you can see the second biggest keyword is unblocked drains. Yes, there is literally a difference of an S in those two keywords, the singular versus the plural. But as we'll see in a second, it drives completely different behavior. So let's take a look at the revenue that those keywords have generated. So as I scroll down here on Analytics tool, and this Analytics tool is pretty much in real time. It updates every hour. So if you give us a sales feed, we can even tell you what your sales results are from leads we're generating on that day. That's how slick this system is. You can see here that actually the key term unblocked drains has driven over £300,000 worth of revenue. So just to count back, you can see here that unblocked drains was actually the second biggest keyword for volume, but as you can see here, it was their number one keyword for value. It drove a lot more revenue. However, the key term unblocked drain, which is singular, which again, if I scroll up, you know that that's your number one keyword for volume. You can see that for value, for quality, it actually only drove £90,000. Now, you're probably thinking as a lead generation agency, well, what the hell does that mean to the client? You just want to sell them leads. That is not what we're about. We're about quality, not quantity. We don't want to drive 50 leads a day and you convert 5. What we want to do is we want to drive 20 leads a day and you can convert 10, because that is a sustainable business model that is highly profitable. And that's the difference with working with eSaleshub is, yes, we're interested in generating leads, but we're really interested in your sales because we want to know that actually we're making the phone ring, but you're making money out of it. Otherwise, why would you stay as a client with eSaleshub? You wouldn't, which is why we put a lot of focus on ensuring that our clients have a very profitable lead generation program with us. And who else looks at your sales data every hour? Well, actually we do. We focus on this and we actually measure our the client's profitability by hour to really understand if we're making a difference. And that's why you pay us per lead, not per click. We take the risk on the Google AdWords spend. We take the risk on the SEO investment that we make. And what you end up doing, is you literally end up paying per lead. And provided we get feedback, we're able to get some data from you in terms of sale, we can identify your high value key terms so that we can drive more and more sales and more profitably for your business. That's how eSaleshub works. If you have any questions, please do email us.